This segment sponsored by Foster Financial. Welcome to Women's Wealth Wednesday. If you've been following this series, then you know that we've been talking about helping widows who have recently lost someone gain the financial advisement that they need for the next steps. And joining me today is Caleb Doan with Foster Financial. Hi, Caleb.
Hi.
Welcome back.
Thank you very much.
Yes, so in our last session, we talked about gathering documents. That was the first step if someone unfortunately was to lose someone. What's the next step?
Yeah, good question. So last week we kind of talked about gathering all those big documents that really make sense if somebody's recently widowed, and really all of these steps have to do with setting yourself up for a productive financial future,
Right.
Because it's such a big financial change to be widowed. And so really today, kind of that next step is figuring out the exact people that you need to talk to. Okay, and there's really three that kind of come to mind. And so the first one is speaking with your spouse's former employer, all right? And this is really important if there's a pension in the mix, but even if there isn't a pension, a lot of times there can be life insurance policies that people funded through work. Sometimes big employers like GM, for example, might be paying for certain life insurance policies on their workers, even in retirement. And so it's important to call them and kind of figure out exactly what steps need to be taken. With a pension specifically, there's kind of a whole range of pension payout options that people choose when they elect their pension. And so, on one side of the spectrum, there's, the straight life or single life payout, and this is the highest monthly benefit, but this basically just means that payout pays the same monthly benefit for the worker's entire life, and then when they pass away, it completely stops and it doesn't go to anybody else.
Oh, wow. Okay.
On the other side of the spectrum, people can choose a payout strategy that gives you a little less per month, but when they pass away, 100% of the benefit goes to their, surviving spouse for the rest of their life. And then there's a whole bunch in between. There's, 75% payout, 65, all the way down. And so a lot of times people elect this when they turn 65 and retire, and they lived a long and happy retirement and maybe passed away at 85. And a lot of times the spouse might think, I don't remember, was it 100%? Was it 75%? I'm not sure. And so it's important to give that company a call, let them know that your spouse passed away, and then see what you can expect in terms of the pension payout there too.
Can we talk about pensions a bit more? Because as we are preparing for what may happen, of course, people can choose their electives right now. So is that a service that you offer as far as breaking down which pension plan would be best for someone?
That's a great question. And yes, we absolutely advise on that. And that's a huge decision because when somebody makes that choice, it's in almost all cases final. I mean, you can't change that, a week down the road, a year down the road. And there are situations where, somebody might have chosen a joint life payout. Let's say a husband chooses a joint life payout for him and his spouse. And that means that they get a slightly lower benefit, but, if he were to pass away, it would cover her. Let's say, heaven forbid, 1 year down the road, his wife passes away. That means, he's getting a lower benefit for the rest of his life when there's really no added benefit to him of covering his spouse because she passed away before him. And so there's actually different, life insurance strategies that we can kind of bring into the mix to sort of mitigate that risk and make sure you're choosing the best option for you and your family.
Okay, that's good. That's good stuff. Okay, so first person in contact, your spouse's employer. Who's the next person?
Yeah, the next one is actually the Social Security office.
Oh, okay.
And especially if they're already collecting Social Security, which most people are, if they're in the being widowed, and so the Social Security system, since it's a government system, is very confusing. No huge surprise there. But one of the things that typically happens is if a husband and wife are both collecting Social Security, if the husband passes away and his benefit is higher than what the wife's is, depending on the circumstances, oftentimes she's able to get that higher benefit. So she no longer gets hers, but she gets her husband's higher benefit. And there's a lot of things that can play into this, like how long that they were married, how old they are, if they're the full retirement age or not, if she gets remarried afterwards. There's so many different factors that will actually determine how much she gets. And that really brings us to the third one, which is, you need to chat with a financial advisor about a lot of this, because all of these will have a huge impact on your financial plan. And so a lot of times we see that, financial advisors, maybe they dealt with the husband predominantly. And so sometimes, widows can be less comfortable communicating with the financial advisor. And so that's why it's so important to establish a relationship beforehand, make sure you understand your financial plan too, and that someone understands what the plan is moving forward if you do become widowed.
Yeah, that's so good. And really, because when we talk about pensions and even Social Security in this conversation, those are things that may be fleeting. They're not guaranteed. And so that retirement planning in other ways is something that you all help with and kind of get people situated for the full picture and not be so dependent on these things that may not be consistent.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
And setting all of this stuff up beforehand is the best possible scenario.
Yeah.
Obviously, it's, someone losing a spouse is one of the worst things to possibly go through. And so having sort of the finances taken care of and something that you don't have to stress about on top of everything else is a wonderful blessing.
Yeah. Okay. Well, wonderful. Thank you so much, Caleb. That is such good information. And if you would like more information about Foster Financial or take advantage of their consultation, then we'll have that information listed below, and we'll be right back. This segment sponsored by Foster Financial.
Follow us on social media at Living Local 15.